Community Viewpoint.
And welcome to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host for this segment. And this segment, we will be talking to our fire chief, Scott Lewis, from the Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue. I want to get that right. How long have you been here, Scott?
15 years.
Oh my God. I've been here about 16, 17. We count here about the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You still exceed me by a couple, though.
Yeah. But Scott's going to be talking about the state of our fire and rescue. And if you read the paper on Friday, the Pahrump Valley Times, Selwyn did a wonderful job on that. They're being called on more and more. And you had some, well, you have the numbers.
I do. And by the way, Selwyn did do a great job, and he does a good job reporting most of our incidents. You know, when we look at a snapshot between 2015 and 2016, we're seeing the trends showing that not only are we going a little bit further within our service area, but again, we're experiencing those higher volume calls in certain parameters, and including our fires, which we always really strive to reduce, obviously, through good fire prevention programs. But depending on different fuel loads for the spring and the summer, depending on how the structures are being maintained through the rest of the course of the year, economy drives a lot of things as far as whether they're using the fuel and heat their homes. So a lot of things come into play, but the patterns are that we're continuing to see an increase in our call volume, both on the EMS and the fire side.
And you try to forestall that with the education that you do in the schools too, educating the kids to educate the parents what you should or shouldn't do, changing filters, changing the batteries twice a year for your smoke detectors, and many other things too. I know they get booklets to take home.
They do.
And force their parents to sit down here. You help me color this.
Yeah, and then you stated eloquently that the children then take the message home, and so hopefully that is a course of enough to make the changes necessary to try and reduce those fires.
And you shouldn't have the house that we've done this before, dinner is done when the smoke alarm goes off.
Yes, I will not state that except for my wife again, because.
But yeah, I go out to Amargosa and Beatty, and I see your vehicles out there from time to time. And then when I travel to Las Vegas, unfortunately, I see the ambulances going back there, and that's a long run. That's half a day?
Well, it depends on what the destination hospital is and how many patients conceivably are on board that particular ambulance.
Oh, that's true, too.
So, yeah, you can at least have a minimum turnaround of about 3 hours.
Yeah, so that's a long day, and you have to be careful. The article mentioned about the construction, too.
Our responses within the valley and quite frankly, going into Las Vegas have been challenged by the ongoing construction. And some of our well-established travel routes to certain areas of our valley for significant incidents are now having to go through secondary roadways and such. So we're being extremely careful. We have to slow the speeds down because in a lot of the areas there's playgrounds, there's ballpark activities, a softball. They're already established detour routes. So things are impeding our ability to get there in as a timely fashion as this time last year.
So how's 372 doing?
372 right now, as we speak, is a snapshot time is a nightmare for us.
Okay. I know how to get by there relatively easy. It was easy for me, but other people are having an issue with that.
372 at Blag especially, they've done a good job in trying to manage that particular roundabout project through using traffic signals. However, they're set on a delay. So there's nowhere for the vehicles to go to pull to the right or anything like that to allow us to go through. So we're having to choose alternate routes, and it's becoming a challenge. We're using best practices that are being determined by the responding crews. If they find a particular road at a certain time of day isn't too bad, we'll come back and relay that through the entire department.
All right, that's true too, yeah. So you've got, let's show that house fire, the picture of that too. So this is...
a very typical scenario for us.
And that's, there are more of those happening too?
Oh, absolutely. These are bread and butter type fires. It's lightweight construction. As you can see, there's a heavy fire condition presenting, and a lot of with that lightweight construction, more often than not, it breaches the roof very quickly, and then it gets all the necessary air it needs. But in this particular case, this was an attached garage that extended into the primary dwelling. And again, a very typical scenario for us.
And you have to worry about flammable fuels and stuff in the garages and stuff.
Yeah, stored equipment. A lot of times there's other vehicles, and whether they're UTVs, ATVs, flammable and combustible liquids like you mentioned. And also the quick spreading into the primary dwelling is also a huge challenge for us.
Well, it's a good thing we don't store ammo in our homes.
There's quite a bit of ammunition that we regularly encounter as well.
Okay, that could be very dangerous too if that goes up.
Yeah, and we try to get that message. If we arrive on location, and during our scene size up, we also call that a risk assessment. So we determine whether or not there's a life safety issue that needs a paramount response for an interior attack. Is the structure tenable for an interior attack? And comparing what that risk level should be.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases, if there's no life safety issue and is too well involved, we'll keep more of a defensive posture to ensure the safety of the firefighters.
You and your crews are professionals. You're not going to run in there without assessing what damage it could do to you.
Right. It's just, it's a risk management tool, and we want to make sure everybody goes home safe at the end of the day.
Definitely. And then many people don't realize you're 24 hours.
They are.
Yes. You have a core group that staffs the station, just the one.
No, actually 3 stations are manned 24 hours.
Really?
The
Okay.
center station, Station 1, and both the north at 5 and the south at 3 are manned 24 hours. A lot of times, though, it's not as if we have a lot of spare crews that are just sitting there waiting. Yeah. That crew is quite often they're out on either an EMS call, interfacility transfer, or another fire-related call.
True. So, and what else do you do? We just had a phone call prior to going on the air here that the area where they shoot off the fireworks. When they do that, you have to have a vehicle there?
We don't always need to have a vehicle there unless there's anticipated there's going to be a high volume and that the risk, again, the desert floor is conducive for a large burn. Then we will place a piece of apparatus there. More often than not, though, we try not to. However, we have crews on standby in the closest locations, and they're aware of it.
And then what else? There's a Bloom Festival coming up, too. So you have to staff that. You have to make sure the vendors have fire extinguishers and things like that, too?
Yeah, I'm fortunate because we remain a combination department, so we have both career and volunteer. So we beef up on the volunteer side. If the call volume is significant throughout the event, we have the ability to bring additional career staff back as well. But more often than not, it's a game plan that's created between the Sheriff's Office, NHP, Buildings and Grounds, our organization, anyone who may be a primary stakeholder for an emergency that occurs there. And we simply call that an incident action plan. That's been out for over 2 weeks now. So all parties, no matter who they are, can pull up that IAP and see what the contacts are, what the game plan is, what are the incident objectives, what are the operational periods. So all those things are covered in a single document, and even including Desert View Hospital, because quite frankly, they have to consider, going to bring in a number of people into the valley. Could they see a significant increase from those participants as well as visitors? Vehicular traffic may cause additional accidents. There's a number of things to consider, even as far as Mercier, because when the balloon launch is in the flight path of Mercier, both to and from Desert View Hospital and heading out towards Amargosa and Beatty. So they're a part of that. The incident action plan goes out to them, so they're keenly aware.
And then when you go out to different areas, the N2S2, the former NTS, you have an MOU with them?
We do.
Well, and vice versa?
And vice versa.
Yeah.
We have the ability.
So everything is covered as well as you can to save our lives.
Yeah. We have a number of different mechanisms built into our systems that allow us to call in mutual aid. We have the county station here, Station 51, that can come out and assist us at any point on the fire side, whether it be providing additional water supply, additional manpower, things like that. So we're fortunate to have that. From an EMS standpoint, we work very closely with the hospital so that we can deploy additional with either be Mercier on the scenes or even utilizing Mercier crews and alternate means.
How many helicopters they have out here? 2?
They have 2. There's a 24-hour ship and there's a 12-hour ship. The 12-hour ship is positioned at Desert View Hospital, and so they're available during 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Interesting, because I see that flying, it seems, more and more as of late. Well, then going out to the Amargosa Valley, Beatty, and whatever.
They cover a large area. You know, they cover into California. They have gone to Tonopah. There was a series of significant automobile accidents that have occurred up there.
Oh, God,
and
yes.
their ships were repositioned up there to assist with patient care.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, amazing. So what else would you want us to know about the fire department?
Well,
in EMS?
There's a lot of information, but the public safety sales tax has been instrumental in allowing us to upgrade our communication systems. When we go to outlying areas where we're providing mutual aid or even our coverage within this valley, it's been sparse over the last decade. And going to those various valleys, everybody was on different frequencies, and you had to keep switching radios. So using public safety sales tax monies, we've been able to increase the capacity of the existing system within this valley, as well as purchase equipment that will allow us to communicate more efficiently and effectively to our neighbors, whether it be in California, Clark County, or we're going further into Nye County. The other thing, too, is it's allowing us to get onto what's called mobile spillman, which is the ability now to kind of switch from doing all of our communications on a radio and allowing us to get into more of a platform using computers. So we can see things more real time. Yeah. We can follow what's going on in the different agencies. So it allows us to better plan and allows us to better communicate in cases where there's something significant occurring, no matter where it is in the county.
Oh, interesting, yes. And then we were talking about the weeds coming up. When do we think we might be able to start burning legally?
Well, you can burn now.
Is it?
Yes, we are in the burn season.
Okay, this is only February. Okay.
Correct, right. And well, remember, the burn season is the fall, the winter, and into the spring. Once we get to around May, when the temperatures are up, usually above 90 consistently, and the fuel load is almost, not quite its maturity, but it's growing, and then it's drying.
Okay, I know why I mentioned that, because I don't burn, because I go to the thing that's called the landfill, which you'd like us all to do rather than.
It's a great option. And
yes.
It's a preferable option. One of our biggest challenges is under the controlled burns is a lot of folks feel that they still can burn whatever they want and whenever they want. And that's not the objective. The objective is to take care of your natural waste vegetation, that being the weeds, some light tree branches, things like that.
And this is not over government trying to envelop you. It's safety, safety, safety.
We've had some serious fires and incidents where deaths have occurred, all at the hands of unauthorized controlled burns.
And unfortunately, we're out of time again.
Okay.
But thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you learned something valuable. You always do when Scott's here. Thank you.
Community Viewpoint.